Let's now solve some exam questions regarding substitutions and specific cases. The first is a paper 3 from June 2007, and it's question 7 over here. It says, let I be the integral from 1 to 4 of 1 over x, open brackets, 4 minus square root of x, close brackets, dx. First question is, use the substitution u equals to square root of x to show that I equals integral from 1 to 2 over u times, open brackets, 4 minus u, close brackets, du. So let's get this first and then look at the second part of the question. Okay, here is a reproduction of what you need to get. And let's do the substitution that I say. So if u equals square root of x, I can write this as just x to the power of 1/2. I will know that du by dx equals, as you know, 1/2 times x to the power minus 1/2. Okay, this may seem weird because this apparently is going nowhere. You look at this and you have none of that over there. And then you have this x over here. So what do? Well, you work with what you have, and never forget, never take your eyes off the ultimate price. The ultimate price is this expression over here, okay? So, if u equals square root of x, then what is x? X is going to be u squared. Just write it down. You don't know where this is leading right now, but just write it down and bear with what the calculations show. Okay? What is this? Basically, you can rewrite this as 1 over 2 times square root of x, or x to the power of 1/2. But this is what? This is basically what your u is. So it's 1 over 2 times u. So du by dx equals 1 over 2u. Why did you do this? Because leaving this as x is not going to allow you to proceed on the question. Your final answer is in terms of u, so you might as well just put everything in terms of u, okay? You could now do du equals 1 over 2u dx. But again, 1 over 2u is not going to give you anything that you need over here, all right? So what do you do instead? You try to play with the math, try to work this out in terms of the x. So dx is going to be what? Is going to be du over this fraction, 1 over 2u, or dx is basically 2u du. Let's see what happens if you plug this over here, if you plug u as this, and if you plug u squared as this. That's what I did over here. Before that, let me just change the limits of integration. So when x equals 1, u is going to still be 1. When x equals 4, u is going to be 2. So 1, 4 turns into 1 and 2. And then, what do? This is u squared. This is u. And now dx is what? Is 2u du. And now this u cuts out with this square, and you are left with what you want. What is the difficulty of this question? None of this is difficult. But this doesn't align with anything that you have on the notes or on the topic itself. You just have to be sensible enough to look at the question, see what the calculations allow you to get, and then work out what you need just using algebra. There's nothing particularly different over here. Just start playing around, even if this is not obvious for you. And I have to be honest, when I solved this question, it wasn't obvious to begin with to me. And I just have to change a little bit from all the other questions that we've been solving, particularly if you are watching this on the Access Pro tier or Ultra, in which I already solved several questions about this topic, but none of them use this method over here. So you just have to adapt. This is math. You are given the tools, you have the toolbox, and you have to use the toolbox to the best of your ability to figure out a solution to what you are being asked. You are given the starting point, the end point. You have the toolbox, use whatever tools you know to get to what you want. And this is the procedure. All right. Now, the second part of the question asks you to hence, so using the result that you got from the previous question, that I equals to this value. Okay, so we basically just have to solve this integral. So what can you do? I can just put the 2 outside, and this is what I get. But this is a fraction that you don't know how to integrate directly. So what do you have to do? You have to break it down into 2 separate fractions, basically doing partial fractions. What type is this? It's a type 1, the simplest one. So this equals a over u plus b over 4 minus u. So multiply the whole thing by this denominator. This will be just 1. This will eliminate the u's, so a is going to be multiplied by just 4 minus u. It will eliminate the 4 minus u for b, so it's just b times u. Just expand now, combine like terms, and then compare. There is no term with u on the left-hand side, so b minus a is 0. And the coefficient of, for a is going to be equal to 1. So a equals 1/4, substitute it over there, and b equals 1/4 as well. All right, now substitute this back on over here on the partial fractions. So this will turn into that. So this integral over here, don't forget that too, this integral over here is going to be equal to, already divided in 2, these 2 integrals, both multiplied by 2. And these now are simple to integrate, okay? I just sent this 1/4 outside, multiplied by 2, that's just 1/4 times 2, that's just 1/2 of 1 over u du. Same thing over here, 1/2 of 1 over 4 minus u du. Here are the result of these integrations that you should know by now. Substitute by the limits, and eventually, don't forget here that natural logarithm of 1 is 0. So eventually you got what you need. All right? Another question. This is a spring 2015 paper 31, and it's question 5. Yes, this one. Find the integral of 4 plus 10 square of 2x dx. Now, you may be thinking, you didn't teach anything about the integrals of 10. And that's true, I didn't. Okay, so again, you have a problem. You need to get to a solution. And you need to use the toolbox. Luckily, you can recur to this, to the MF19. And although there is no formula here that allows you to directly integrate a 10, particularly a 10 square of something, you have this one over here that relates to the tangent, the second square, right? And you may remember that when we talked about the trigonometry chapter, when I mentioned the second, you learned this identity over here. 1 plus 10 square of theta equals the second square of theta, which means that the 10 square of theta equals second square of theta minus 1. Right? Now, you are stuck with a problem. You don't know how to solve this directly. So change this, use whatever means necessary to try to fix the problem. Okay, that's your role as a Pure Math A2 student. You need to use the toolbox in order to solve a problem. So this equals what? This equals second square of 2x minus 1. 4 minus 1, that's just 3. You divide this into 2 integrals. And this, here I use a change of variable, but you should know as a standard result that the integral of second square of 2x is just 10 of 2x over 2. Okay? Here I bother to do this part, 1/2 times 2, so that here I have the result of this part differentiated, and well, I kind of use the substitution here to solve the problem, to solve this integral, but you should know that second square of ax equals 10 of ax over a. Okay? And here you have it. That's the result. Now, the second part of the question asked you to solve this integral. I'm not going to state it, just look at it. This is unrelated to that as far as I can tell. Yes. So you have a sign of a sum of something. So you should go to the MF19, if you don't know this by heart, and use this result. You have plus or minus. Let me look again. It's plus. So sine of A plus B equals sine of A cosine of B plus cosine of A sine of B. That's what I did over here. So basically here, sine of x, I divided this into two integrals. This plus that one. Sine of x over sine of x, they cut out, so you just have cosine of pi over 6 between pi over 4 and pi over 2. Plus, and then you have cosine of x sine of pi over 6, which is 0.5, so I already have put that outside. And I'm left with cosine of x over sine of x. Okay, so this is one of those special cases. This is one of the specific cases that I mentioned over here. Where is it? Trigonometric functions. No, it's not this one. Yeah, basically is one of these in disguise. Is basically an expression of the form f dash of x divided by f of x, in which these are trigonometric functions. What do I mean with that? If you use the new variable as the denominator, if you do du by dx, that's going to be cosine of x, which means that the du is going to be cosine of x dx, which is exactly what you have over there. So this turns into this, and you have new limits of integration. Substitute x over here to get the new lower limit of integration, which is square root of 2 over 2. And do the same thing for the pi over 2, and you get the other limit of integration. All right? And then integrate that between those two values. There's nothing particularly new on anything that goes from this moment onwards. And yeah, that's the result. Last exam question, winter 2015, question paper 33. And it's question 7 over here. So show that x plus 1 is a factor of 4x cubed minus x squared minus 11x plus 6. Nothing to do with this topic. This is the first chapter, if you remember. So I hope that you still remember. By the way, whenever you are solving questions about a particular topic, if you are at a particular topic or at a particular chapter in Pure Maths A3, in Pure Math 3, that's what I meant. Never forget to leave some time to practice with chapters that you have already learned, okay? Because you may start forgetting, and you don't want that, okay? As a rule of thumb, for every 5 to 10 questions you solve about a particular topic, solve a question about a past topic or a past chapter, just to keep things going and allowing you not to forget. Okay, so if you have done that, you still remember how to do this question. It's very simple. That's why it's only 2 points. If x plus 1 is a factor of that, this means that x equals minus 1 substituted over here would yield the value 0, right? In other words, f of minus 1 equals 0. So substitute x by minus 1. Why minus 1? You are just equaling this to 0. X plus 1 equals 0. So x equals minus 1. So this will bring the function, this one, to 0. So you have proven. Now, the other one is an 8-point question, all right? And asks you to calculate that integral. You look at this and you may think it's very complex. It's lengthy, but not very complex. All right. This would give you a hint on how to solve it. All right. Because if x plus 1 is a factor of this expression, which is the thing that you have here in the denominator, you should be able to get the other factor. Just divide this expression, this polynomial expression, by the x plus 1, I'm not going into detail on how this is done. You have a whole chapter or a whole lesson about this, okay? Just divide this by this. I made the operation here, and eventually I got this result. So I know that this, the denominator, is going to be equal to x plus 1 times that. But you can also factorize this. That's what I did over here. I factorized this expression. I use that method by which I multiply 4 by minus 6 to get minus 24. I look at this, minus 5. Think of two numbers that multiply together gives minus 24 and added together gives minus 5. That would be minus 8 and 3. Okay, so I break this down, this minus 5x into minus 8x and plus 3x. And I factorize by parts. I factorize this part first. That will be 4x, x minus 2. I factorize this part later, 3 times x minus 2. So I have another common factor, which is the x minus 2, which I factorize again, leaving this result. So this equals to that. So I can express the whole denominator as a product of these two factors, these two plus the x plus 1 that they already had over there. And now I can transform this into this. And now you have another problem. How do you go ahead and factorize this? And integrate this? Well, you look at the denominator, and you should know from the previous chapter that you can break this fraction down into 3 equal fractions because this is a type 1 partial fraction. Okay, so this is going to be equal to a over 4x plus 3 plus b over x minus 2 plus c over x plus 1. The type 1 partial fractions are the simplest to solve because you just have to cherry pick the values. Before that, multiply the whole thing by this denominator. So the numerator is going to be equal to a over just x minus 2, x plus 1, the 4x plus 3 cut out. B is going to be multiplied by 4x plus 3, x plus 1, the x minus 2 cut out. Do the same thing with c, and that's going to be just 4x plus 3, x minus 2. Now expand, no, not expand all of that. It's a type 1. You can just cherry pick. When x equals minus 1, you eliminate this term and you eliminate that one, and you will be able to find c. That's what I did there. So when x equals minus 1, substitute it here, here, and there, and you end up with just that, and c is going to be minus 2. If you pick x to be 2, you eliminate this term and that term, allowing you to find b. Okay, just substitute x by 2, and eventually you'll find b. Do the same thing for the last one, which is this term over here, the 4x plus 3. This is 0 when x equals minus 3/4. So cherry pick the minus 3/4. You eliminate this term and that one, allowing you to find a. And a equals 8. So you know the values to plug over there. And you just integrate the whole thing, but now with a being 8, b being 1, and c being minus 2. That's what I did over here. And these are very simple to integrate. They are just a natural logarithm of whatever you have here in the denominator. And that's it. It's solved. Okay. Again, what is the main difficulty over here? Knowing what to do. The hardest thing in Math A3, and because of the length of the program, the length of the syllabus, that's the main thing. This is the full length of the syllabus. You are given a lot of new tools. None of these tools is particularly different. You just need to be aware of all the things that you have at your disposal. I'll say this again. The difficulty on Math A2, on pure Math 3, is being aware of the range of tools that you are being given, what I usually call the toolbox, and knowing which tools to use at any given time.